Natalie, we are always, so happy when tribute bands come by.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we've seen some great ones in the area. It's almost as good as the real thing. Sometimes it feels as good as the real thing.
I feel like, I think they're better. They're better than the real thing because it's more intimate. Yeah. And the people that put on any kind of tribute show or any kind of impression of an artist, there's a lot of pressure, I think.
And then a lot goes into it. I mean, they have to really have the swagger and the attitude and the whole vibe of the person. I mean, you really have to kind of personify completely from head to toe.
And when you find an act that just nails it as good as Marshall Charloff does with the Purple Xperience, Marshall.
Good morning, Parker.
We are just like gushing over here. First of all, I think when Natalie saw a picture of you, I think she drooled a little bit because you're definitely right up her alley, just so you know.
Not too bad on the eyes, Marshall.
Natalie, I can't wait. Are you coming to the show?
Of course I am. Are you kidding me?
Okay, good.
All right, we got to get a bucket for Marshall. That's a bucket of cold water for Marshall there. So, Marshall, thanks so much for being on the show. We appreciate the Purple Xperience. How long have you been doing this show, and how long have you been Prince?
Well, it's been about 12 years. Inception was back in Minneapolis with the original member of the Revolution, Dr. Fink, and myself, put the band together. And kind of stepped into the biggest shoes ever, as the top of this interview you guys were talking about. Personifying that artist, and there's just no bigger. Well, actually, I should say no bigger heels to fill.
Right.
Exactly.
Just the greatest consummate artist on every level. Really hard to match.
Now, and you personally,
do.
You personally, you have a lot of skills because you're playing a lot of the instruments like Prince himself. What was it about Prince that you gravitated towards? Was it somebody you always admired, or was it just an opportunity thing, or what? Have you always been a big Prince fan?
Definitely not an opportunity thing.
Yeah.
So I knew Prince when I was basically a kid. I'm in Minneapolis when it's all happening. I'm in a band with Prince's cousin. I meet Prince. I meet Dr. Fink. I was signed by Pepe Willie, the same guy that signed Prince in '94 East. I'm on those recordings. So it was just one of these, I'm there. I'm in it. I'm going for the ride. It's kind of like that. I wasn't a tribute artist. I was just an artist and a producer. And Prince became a mentor to me and his cousin in this little project we were in. And so I was just kind of always in it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Right. So that means, it must mean that you really have that, Prince. I mean, somebody who actually knows Prince intimately, to me, would be somebody who would be able to fill those shoes a little bit easier than somebody who's really just admired Prince. You learn from Prince.
Well, I think a lot of tribute artists maybe haven't met the actual artist because perhaps they're deceased, or it's just, it's hard to kind of have a personal connection with the artist that you're tributing to.
Sure.
So I think that really probably adds to it, because I got to tell you, we watched videos and it is uncanny. So being able to pick up on his mannerisms and just really the whole vibe.
Well, thank you. Really what I'm doing is I'm channeling his energy. Right. So I'm not mindful of, Prince this is a smirk he would give right now, or maybe this was a move he would do, or this is how he would play. There's no way to be in your head to that degree. So I just let the energy take over, and I kind of channel that spirit.
Sure.
And then the rest of it is organic. So that's why I think it doesn't come off forced or phony.
And I think that's important, especially with somebody like Prince, who notoriously was kind of a quiet dude. Like he didn't do a lot of interviews, and when he did, they were very, he was a quiet,
almost
kind
subdued,
of subdued kind of dude. Knowing Prince the way you know him, what do you think is there something about Prince people don't get, or is there something that comes out in your channeling of him that we should look for in the audience that's really like a more personal thing that only you would know from working with him?
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to mislead your audience or anybody that I was intimate with Prince and knew him on that level. There's very few that could make that claim because of all those things that you mentioned. Prince didn't let very many people into his life on an intimate level.
Do you know why that was? Do you know why that was?
Boy, we could spend an hour on that. I don't really know why that was. I mean, he was a genius, right?
Right.
So you have to figure he's operating on a level that most people just can't even hang. They just can't hang. So that eliminates 99% of the population right there. But also, once you reach a certain level of success and fame, now you have to wonder, why are people in your life? What do they want to get out of you? So I'm sure he was pretty guarded in that respect as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, the people that came up with him, like, for instance, my mentor, Pepe Willie, who discovered Prince, was married to Prince's cousin and then brought him into the studio for the first time. And you can read all about that in his book and go online, Pepe Willie, 94 Youth. But even Pepe, who is as close as you can get to Prince, would tell you Prince didn't let him in that far. He kept him at arm's length, and this was before he was famous. So I guess that's a little bit of piece of the puzzle there, too, is that he just didn't let people in that club.
We're talking to Marshall Charloff of the Purple Xperience. It's coming up Saturday, 7:30. This is going to be great.
It's going to be so much fun.
Their website, purplexperience.com, as well. Marshall, we were saying off air that you really also are such an accomplished musician yourself. Like Natalie really picked up on the symphonies you've been involved in.
Oh, and I know that's so impressive. All the symphonies that I've played with you, and I was curious if you have formal training, voice training with those. You hit those falsettos and those high pitched screens, a la Prince. So, do you have formal training, Marshall?
I don't.
You don't? I'm shocked. I figured you were going to say you've been training since you were like 6 years old.
Yeah, he's talented. He's just
right?
Instantly talented.
Right. Well, I have been training, and I do train every day.
Right, on your own.
At my craft.
Right.
But it's been self-exploration. So.
Well, don't stop doing what you're doing.
So I want to talk about the members of your band in a second, but before I do that, Marshall, playing Prince and being part of this is so exhilarating and wonderful. But do you ever feel
so
like
much fun?
It must be fun, right? But at the same time, as an artist, do you ever feel like, okay, great, Purple Rain again, but I've got this great song that I just wrote.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not to knock
because you write your own material as well.
Right? Is that frustrating?
Oh, not at all. No,
Yeah.
I definitely have an outlet for my original music and the other artists that I produce, and many of my fan base know me only for my original work. But to be able to be channeling the greatest artist, in my opinion, the greatest artist that ever lived, what an honor. And the beauty of it is, and I kind of touched on this earlier, is I'm a composer, and I'm composing all night long. So even though I'm performing his catalog, I'm not doing it the same way twice, ever.
Right.
And that's what's so beautiful about coming to a live shared experience.
Yeah.
Is that it won't be recreated ever again. It's just for the people in that room, and I encourage people to turn the TV off and come out and
definitely.
go to the theater and support theaters and live music, because we just can't let that
And we
die.
missed it so much in the past couple years.
That's right.
Yes, we did.
Hey, I have a question. What is your favorite song to perform?
Oh, great one.
Okay, so I've been asked that many times.
I know,
as you can
but
imagine.
there's also favorite song to perform and your favorite song,
Good
right? It
one.
may not be
Totally.
the same, right?
They are so not the same. I was just going to say that. So the favorite song to perform is the obvious. It's Purple Rain.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got nothing to do with it being anywhere near my favorite song. It's at probably the bottom of the list as far as my favorite songs.
Right.
But the impact that has,
Oh,
to be
sure.
able to be a conduit, it's kind of an anthem, right? I mean, it brings people together, and you see kids now are coming to the show, and parents are kind of embracing that moment, and there's tears, and I get to be a part of that. And
Yeah, that
it's
energy.
powerful. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So my answer is the obvious.
And then your favorite song?
My favorite Prince song?
Yeah. Your favorite
It
song.
changes. Right now, and I perform this in my one-man show. I do a one-man piano show called Purple Piano. and I changed those songs up a lot. Right now it's Morning Papers. For whatever reason, I'm really connected to that song right now.
And there's a lot of songs that Prince wrote that people are like, wait, that's a Prince tune.
Right, exactly. I know. It's true.
Sheena Easton, you know.
Yeah, I know.
We're talking to Marshall Charloff. He's with the Purple Xperience. The show is Saturday night, 7:30 at the Colonial Theater, thecolonial.org to get your tickets for that. Marshall, thanks so much. I know we got to let you go, but thanks so much for being part of the show today. We're definitely looking forward to it on Saturday.
Very much looking forward to it.
Looking forward to meeting you, Natalie, on Saturday.
Likewise.
Oh, and Parker, if you're there too.
Yeah, well, I know. Natalie gets all the attention, believe me.
Yeah.
I'll be the one glowing.
That should be.
That's right. Thanks so much, Marshall.